Ahead of the September 10 governorship election in Edo State, the State Police Command has convened a meeting on best practices to ensure free, fair and credible polls. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Chris Ezike, appealed to political parties to avoid hate campaigns capable of inciting violence. 20 out of the 23 registered political parties, the Independent National Electoral Commission and other security agencies were in attendance.
Representatives of various political parties, security chiefs as well as election umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) converge on the police officers' mess in Benin City, the Edo State capital, for this summit. They are here to brainstorm on ways to achieve a smooth conduct of the 2016 governorship election in Edo State. Edo Police boss Chris Ezike says it's the first of many interactive sessions to engage participants ahead of the September 10 election.
We also want to use this forum to look at the challenges we have encountered in the past trying to do elections as it concerns security agencies and even election umpires. Discuss, evaluate them before the election so that we will be able to mitigate challenges that may come from it.
Other security agencies at the event assured the gathering of their support in getting the desired results.
Let's make this forthcoming election in Edo State a model so that other states will emulate. And by the kind of security network he has, we are sure.
The election arbiter, INEC, used the occasion to unveil its plans of effecting a positive change in the electoral processes.
And also, in compliance with provisions of the law, we will embark on continuous voters registration. Tentatively, the date has been put for the 1st to the 5th of June.
The politicians were not left out in the discourse as they also made contributions.
We know those who are involved in a lot of the negative aspects of it. I also believe that the security agencies have been identifying them. I only appeal that we generate sufficient courage to do what needs to be done.
I want you to educate your men not to work or collaborate with any political party to the detriment of others.
A communique at the conclusion of the meeting was adopted by all political parties in attendance.
Domestic violence in Nigeria has been on the rise in recent years. According to the Lagos State Director of Domestic and Sexual Violence Responses Team, Mrs. Omotola Rotimi, the reason for this increase is because more people are coming out to talk about it. She says in 2014 alone, 2,460 cases were reported. In 2015, 3,089 cases were reported. And in the first quarter of the year, till date, 401 cases have so far been reported. In this next report, our correspondent Victoria Ido examines the consequences of domestic violence from the account of a 27-year-old victim.
This is Esther, 27-year-old mother of 3. She lives in this house in the Ijora area of Lagos State with her mother and children. She tells us her story of how she has been beaten, battered and shamed by the man she calls the father of her children. Esther's problems began after her mother remarried 10 years after her father passed on.
My stepdaddy don't want to see me. He hates me with passion. I and my brother, because I have a younger brother, he is now 20. He hates me with passion. He shows me hatred with passion, and whenever he's at home, I used to hang around. I won't be able to sleep in the house or be hanging around.
And at 18, all the promises made to her went out through the window the moment she got pregnant.
I have no access to anything in the house. Whenever he's going out of the house, he will disconnect the wires. I have no access to television, to even the freezer. He will lock it up. Even the bed, he don't allow me to sit on the bed, except he tells me to sit there. Because I didn't come with bed when I was coming to his house. Even the chair, I was only allowed to be sitting on the floor with my baby. And whenever he comes back, the baby is just 9 days old that he has started having sex with me. I I tell him I'm still feeling pains. He say no. Sometimes he will even beat me, tie me up before he has sex with me.
Victims of domestic violence are often financially, emotionally and physically dependent on their abusers. Such is the case of Esther. In 7 years, she claims to have been beaten over and over. But yet, she would still return to the same house only because she had nowhere else to go. After 3 children and 3 abortions, she knew it was time to move on with her life.
And since the government has interfered in my matter, he has the fear in him not to be humiliating me and to be supporting me in those children's career. So I will urge the government to encourage the women to speak out, to break the silence.
Efforts to reach the father of her children to hear his side of the story proved abortive. This is one of many stories of abuse inflicted on women, men and even children, many never told. The advice often given to victims of domestic violence who want to break free from the abuse is to break the bond of silence.
It's only when the woman feels that it has gotten to where she cannot take the pressure anymore that she speaks out. So at the point she's speaking out, it means that her life is probably in danger. So at that point in time, it's not really mediation that she needs. She needs to go to a safe place. And that's why you have shelter homes, you have transit homes.
And then the law will take its course.
Of course, the first point will be the police. So we will assist the victim to report the case to the police, and then immediately the police go on their own investigation. If the Minister of Women Affairs or Office of the Youth and Sports will have to take over the rehabilitation if the person needs to be put in protective custody of the state. And of course, OPD would ensure that when the person goes to report at the police station, the cases are incidented, the case is taken to court.
Esther is not the first case of domestic violence in Nigeria, but she is one of the few that is asking for help. Maybe her story will inspire other victims not only to open up, but also join the anti-domestic violence campaign. Victoria Ido, reporting for Channels.
Joining us on the news at 10 is the program director at the Child Health Advocacy Initiative, Mrs. Lola Longe. Good to have you join us.
Nice being here.
Quite a touchy story there. Is it a case of an increase, or we're getting to hear more people speak up against it?
Yeah, I think to some extent there is an increase. It's obvious. But on the other hand, because of the awareness out there, there's a lot of campaign out there. People are now talking about it. From the report there, we have the Office of Public Defender, we have the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team of Lagos State. We have NGOs out there talking about it, giving the women the courage to actually come out and speak about it. So people can hear about it, people are talking about it, so other victims are also coming out to talk about it. And I believe with even awareness campaign, using the media and all that, people have the confidence to speak out now. And that's why it's like there is an increase.
But you know, there's also the culture of silence sometimes amongst victims. How can we help such?
It's quite unfortunate, but I think when they see other women come out, other ladies, other women come out and speak about what they have been going through, and with the support out there, especially from government, I must applaud Lagos State government with the Lagos State Sexual Violence Response Team, that the DSVRT, they are doing a lot. They have a lot in place to protect and to make sure they get justice if they come out to speak. And from the report, you could see some of them even have like safe homes where they can take them to. They even go as far as empowering them financially. They even take them to their centers to let them acquire skill and make sure they get justice. We also have a center like the Mirabel Center where they also support them, especially like cases of rape or some other sexual abuse cases, of even like young, like women, where a case where you have the father abusing the child. It's so rampant these days, and then they can go to such places and get all the support they need. They get counseling, they get medical support, and then they give them all the support they need for justice as well.
Where does the police come in here? Because sometimes I've had calls to call the police on a case, and the story is if the victim doesn't complain, incident the case, there's little or nothing the police can do.
I think things are changing now, especially in Lagos State. The DSVRT, Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, and my NGO actually doing a lot of training out there. We are training the police to make sure when they come to report cases to them, it's not like, oh, go back home, it's a family affair. It's not that any longer in Lagos State. I must say that they make sure they always get to protect the victims and then let them just get justice. And then we even go as far as training even the teachers in the schools to detect such cases. Maybe some children or students that are being abused at home, it is now mandatory for them to report such cases so that they can protect the children and let them get justice.
So in other words, you say you could actually look at the children from such abusive home and find a trait to say,
yes,
this child
the training is going on, is even ongoing in Lagos State. The teachers, the counselors, the head of the schools are being trained to make sure they report any case of sexual or physical abuse they detect in the children. It's even mandatory, and it's like, even if they don't get to report it, they are liable. So everybody is like aware of it, and everybody is making sure they get to help and protect any woman or a child being abused.
Well, we'll talk about everybody going forward. How can the people, neighbors and everyone, family, you recall that we live in a society where people always tell you, don't bring in the third party to your marriage or to your home. How can you help yourself?
Yeah, we have a slogan we use in our awareness campaign about abuse, where we say child protection is everyone's business. And you're a mandated reporter. It's like everybody is mandated now. If you see your neighbor being abused or a child being abused there, you have a toll-free hotline, which is a Lagos State toll-free hotline. You call the number 112, and then somebody responds and comes around to rescue the victim that is being abused. So I think we should not say, oh, it's not my business, or it's not my child, or my wife, or whatever. Everybody should be like the neighbor's keeper and report any case of abuse they see. Either report to the police, or call 112, or Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs, or my agency, Child Health Advocacy Initiative, or Office of Public Defender. There are quite so many agencies on it now in Lagos State, and they're doing a lot to save and protect those who want to abuse either the child or the woman.
So easy to remember. You say 112.
112.
Mrs. Lola Longa, many thanks for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you, my pleasure.
The first Lagos Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprises Fair has now entered its 6th day, but among hundreds of exhibitors at the fair is a visually impaired entrepreneur. Monday, Obafemi, our special report focuses on how he defies his disability to make a difference.
Locally manufactured products on display at the first Lagos Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Fair. On hand to declare the fair open is the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Mrs. Oluranti Adebule, who draws attention to the need for Nigerians to realign their minds towards patronizing made-in-Nigeria products.
By patronizing our local manufacturers, we are expanding the market, creating jobs, and thereby giving hope to the future generations of this country.
Among the exhibitors is Monday Obafemi from Owo, Ondo State. The 38-year-old secondary school leaver has been blind for close to 20 years. But then, his visual impairment hasn't deterred him from making the best out of life. With sheer hard work and determination, Monday designs shoes, bags and other items using refined leather materials.
The school is a Nigeria fan craft as a Air Force Base, Ikeja. So it's here I learned soap making, crafts. Actually, this is not the design I learned here. So I create all the design by myself.
More astonishing is how he combines colors and applies his needle in knitting.
I know that this pink color now, I take the pink, join the black here now. You understand? The edge here now should be purple. Is it right? So I can't see it now. But I know the color that I mix together. I do everything by myself, even though I put the lining and the zip by myself.
Monday has also been working as a temporary staff with the Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs. He trains others in craft making at a vocational center in Egbeda.
I even thank God that I can be able to teach people to use these things to make money. I'm very, very happy. But what I'm asking Lagos State to do for me, they should staff me. I don't want temporary staff.
At a time when hundreds of graduates are waiting on government to provide white-collar jobs, Monday Obafemi's success story should serve as an example to reawaken the entrepreneurial skills in young men and women, regardless of the obstacles they may be faced with in life.
An inspiring story there that leads us to our business news studios with Anne.
Hello and welcome to Business News. As the National Bureau of Statistics gets ready to release the April inflation rate in a few days' time, there are indications already that the figures might go higher than the 12.8% recorded in March. The Economic Intelligence Group of Axis Bank has forecast inflation rate year on year to rise to 13.4% in April. The group says its expectation for higher inflation rate is based on an anticipated upward movement in the food sub-index and in the coal sub-index. Economic Research Group, the financial derivatives company, had earlier projected the headline inflation rate to spike by 13.2% in April. Now, if this happens, it will be the fourth consecutive monthly increase in inflation rate this year. And as the Monetary Policy Committee prepares to meet later this month, economic analysts expect the committee to deliberate on the efficacy of using interest rates to contain the current inflationary trend. The Enterprise and Investment Council of the Commonwealth plans to launch an enterprise support program for small and medium businesses in Nigeria. At a meeting with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the team led by the Director General of the Council, Mr. Oliver Everett, explains that the strategy is part of plans to establish an office in Lagos.
We are going to be launching a program specifically designed to help Nigerian small and medium enterprises export throughout the Commonwealth, which I think is a very positive step. We launched very recently a pilot program in the UK, which has gone well, and we hope that we would be, if I'm optimistic, I think the fourth quarter this year. If I'm realistic, maybe early January to February next year. We'd like to have that program up and running. We're also talking to a number of banks who want to offer trade finance facilities, and I would anticipate a very similar makeup in Nigeria.
The NASD OTC has reported a commission income of 259.36 million naira for the financial year 2015. At a meeting with investors, the managing director, Mr. Bola Ajomale, attributed this milestone to the impact of the new Securities and Exchange Commission rules on trading. According to him, the NASD will generate revenue from market data beginning from this year.
Last year we saw consistent trades, we saw trades 5 days a week, and we also started seeing an increase in size. So the volumes were getting bigger, the values were getting bigger, people were getting more confident about trading on the platform, and that started from April, and that carried on till the third quarter of last year. By the fourth quarter there was a bit of a dip in the volumes that were being traded, but we think that the market will surge again as the economy rebalances itself and gathers itself.
And it's a wrap in Business News tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Anne Owawodo. The rest of the news at 10 continues now.
Still ahead on the news at 10, defending champion Andy Morris taunts Rafael Nadal in Madrid to reach the final. That's on sports. Stay with us.